Well, hello there, and welcome to the Peter Cameron Cemetery. Having a beer with my Scotch relatives, supposedly right underneath me. Of course, you'd never know that, because as you may see, there's nothing here but old rocks. Some of these rocks are old tombstones. The story goes that this land had been purchased by someone where the existing Peter Cameron Cemetery was. They removed all the stones to this tree to farm the land. Well, I'm going to look into seeing what we can do about that. You can guarantee. So anyway, we're here at the Peter Cameron Cemetery. This also was Peter Cameron's land. He and his wife, Nancy Smith, moved here in 1865. They bought the property in July of 1865, sold it in 1884. I don't know what happened to them after 1884, but that's the first I've got of that date. Peter Cameron, wife Nancy. Their children were James Newton Cameron. That's my second great-grandfather. George Cameron, Charles W. Cameron, Peter Franklin Cameron, Farzina N. Cameron, and Dora Cameron. Quite a family. Those Scots. They breed like Catholics. So basically, I'm here on what used to be the Peter Cameron land. Plot 27, in case you're looking for it, here in the southwest corner. He lived here and farmed here in what was evidently a very difficult period in the 1870s. A lot of the families were attracted to this area because it seemed like such a great place to grow things. You'd plant stuff here and it would just grow up. I found this out from a local historian. Unfortunately, what that was due to was exceptional rains that didn't happen all the time, but in those periods it had. So a lot of families moved into this area to start farming. Then it went back to its regular weather. They thought it was a drought. In fact, I'd be darn sure that my second great-grandfather, James Newton Cameron, who was farming on this land also in 1870, that I'll bet it was the drought that forced him to move to Parsons to become a laborer with his wife, Rachel Emily Budd. She also was here on this property. We're just about 1.5 miles from the Rockville Cemetery, which was the William Cameron land, and originally the William Cameron Cemetery. Seems to be a regular thing with these Scots. I've got to figure out what you do if you find a place that used to be a cemetery where your relatives are buried. What you might do about that. Like, I'd like to place a stone here for Peter. And here's my theory. Since I couldn't find James Newton Cameron buried in Parsons, I truly believe James Newton Cameron came to be buried on his home turf. That's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. So once again, we're going to have to wrap this up fairly quickly, as this is private property. I'm not supposed to be here. The people who live right next door are the ones who told me about the Peter Cameron Cemetery. Unfortunately, she said I'm not supposed to give out her name. And so I'm not going to tell you who she is. So, signing off before the police come, from the former Peter Cameron Cemetery. Now a wasteland of broken rocks and tombstones. Hopefully we can resurrect it. If that isn't incorrect usage of that word. So signing off from the former Peter Cameron Cemetery here in Sugar Creek Township, Miami County, Kansas.